Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Fantasy 5 for today, Friday, April 26th. This is episode 66, where we bring you the 5 things you need to know every day in the world of fantasy sports. And today we have some extra special draft coverage where I'm going to be telling you the 5 players who had a positive impact on day 1 and the 5 players who did not have a positive impact on the first day of the NFL draft. All right, as always, we are brought to you by MathRadio.com, where you can pick up an online math course for your child ages 7 through 17 for as little as $9.99 for lifetime membership. Help your child get better grades in school, score higher on exams, and even get into college. That is www.mathradio.com. All right, let's get to the news today. We're going to start with some baseball news. We'll move over to the world of the NBA basketball playoffs, and then we'll hit up the draft. All right. So the Yankees have traded for Cameron Maybin from the Cleveland Indians. So Cameron signed a minor league deal with the Indians, and he was traded for cash considerations. He hasn't done much lately, but he should get a lot of playing time as the Yankees have no more outfielders, so they had to make a deal. And he's also right-handed, and they're going against some left-handers this weekend. So if anything, he should at least get some playing time. Whether he does anything or not with his at-bats is a whole nother story. All right. Let's move from New York to the Toronto Blue Jays. Our boy, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., we've been talking about him all year long, is finally getting called up today. He will be with a big club. In AAA, he hit .367 this year with 3 home runs and 8 RBIs. The guy is going to be a monster. He's generally rated as the number 2 prospect in all of baseball. So he should be an instant impact player. Go up there and pick him up if you haven't already, because he is going to be a monster. All right, our third topic today in baseball has to do with the Anaheim Angels. So Cody Allen is out as the closer. The guy stinks, so they need a new closer, but they don't know who that's going to be. They're talking about a trio of players who might be their closer. We have Ty Battery, we have Hazel Robles, and Luis Garcia. Who's going to be their closer? The manager doesn't know. Nobody knows. Monitor the situation, and you'll be able to pick up a cheap closer out of Anaheim. All right, let's move over to the world of basketball. Last night, the Spurs forced a Game 7, but as usual, I have nothing much to say about that series because I don't really get it. I assume the Nuggets are going to win the next game because they go back and forth every single time. Okay, tonight, we have the big one. Golden State Warriors are -10 at the Clippers. I believe the game starts at 10 or 10:30. Let me just check that up on the fly here because it is important. The game is going to begin at Eastern Time, 10 o'clock. All right. The little angle I like in this game is the Los Angeles Clippers +7 in the first half. I think the Clippers are going to hang with the team. They're going to be fueled by the fans. The crowd is going to be amazing for a Game 6. But I think in the second half, the Warriors kind of pull away. So I would go first half Clippers +7. All right, let's move on to the NFL draft. So last night was pretty crazy. There were a lot of trades, a lot of quarterbacks taken, and some ugliness that happened all over the draft. Let's talk about the 5 players first who got helped last night in the world of fantasy football. So I love what happened with T.J. Hackinson. So I wanted him to go to the Green Bay Packers to play with Aaron Rodgers, but instead he goes to Detroit. But that's fine because Coach Matt Patricia, he coached in New England. He loved Gronk, and Hackinson's going to fill that Gronk role. He should get plenty of touches. He should become instantly weapon number 2 in Detroit. So I like that. He should have a great season with Matt Stafford. Okay, the other player who really got helped out here was Matt Ryan. You're like, Matt Ryan? What are you talking about? Well, the Falcons added 2 offensive linemen in the first day of the draft. This is great news for Matt Ryan. Keep him healthy, keep him out there, keep him untouched, and he should have an amazing season. I might have to move him up my draft boards because, when you bring in 2 first-round picks at offensive line, you've got to think your quarterback is going to stay a little bit healthier. There might be some growing pains at first, but once fantasy playoff time comes around, those guys should be cooking with gas, and I would like to start Matt Ryan. Okay, let's move on to Noah Fant, the other tight end out of Iowa. I love where he landed. I mean, yes, he has to play with Joe Flacco, but what is Joe Flacco? Like, the only thing he does well is chuck the ball downfield. And the only option Denver has to chuck it to is Noah Fant. The rest of the team stinks. He instantly becomes the number one target, and he is going to be basically the only receiving option in Denver. So if Joe Flacco is going to chuck the ball down the field, it's going to be to Noah Fant. Now, obviously, the team's going to want to run the ball, but that should set up the play action to go deep to our boy Noah Fant. I might like him better than what's his name, Hackinson. I think he landed in a great spot. I think it's going to be awesome for him. So he was my third player. My fourth player, pretty obvious, Josh Jacobs to the Oakland Raiders. You know, he's the only guy they have. He's going to get the full workload. Derek Carr loves to check down. You can split Jacobs out wide. Do a little two-step drop. Flick him the ball, let him do work in open space. I think he's going to have a monster season, especially as a receiver. He should be getting the ball early and often, I would think, over there in Oakland before they move to, where are they going? Las Vegas. Yeah. My final player is kind of also off the wall here, Andy Dalton. So I thought very seriously that the Bengals were going to move on from Dalton and pick up one of these quarterbacks. Apparently, they didn't like any of them because they drafted an offensive lineman. So not only did they not draft a quarterback, so that let Andy Dalton keep his job, but they also added a piece to help him out. They didn't go with another defensive player. They added an offensive lineman who should keep Dalton safe. I believe what's his name? I forget who was drafted, but he was the first offensive lineman off the board. Maybe the second. I think he was out of Alabama State. I can't recall his name right now, but that's all right. Anyway, Andy Dalton gets another protector in front of him, and no one has stepped up to challenge him as quarterback. Now, the Bengals could use their second or third round pick on Rosen out of Arizona, but as long as that doesn't happen, I love what's going on for Andy Dalton. He might crack my top 20 before the end of the year. All right, let's not be so positive anymore. Let's talk about the 5 players who I didn't like for fantasy football last night. First of all, Kyler Murray. I don't like the situation in Arizona. Eventually, he might be good, but obviously, he's not going to be that good next year in Arizona. I mean, I guess I could be wrong, but I don't think he's a top 20 player in fantasy this year. I also don't like what happened for Aaron Rodgers. The Packers had 2 first-round picks last night. I thought for sure they would go out and get him a weapon. They did not. They got 2 defensive players. Not good for Rodgers. He cannot be happy about this situation. All right. The other player that did not get helped last night was N'Keal Harry. He went to the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. And you're like, why? What? He gets to play with Brady. He gets to be coached by Belichick. This has got to be great, right? Wrong. The one thing that Belichick does not do well in New England is draft wide receivers. I feel bad for you, N'Keal Harry, but you just got drafted by the New England Patriots, and you have no future. Sorry, that's just the way it is. Also, I was very disappointed in where Hollywood Brown got taken. He was my number 1 wide receiver. I loved it. I was all excited about it. And then he goes to the Ravens. So Hollywood Brown is a small, quick receiver who needs an accurate quarterback to get him the ball in space. This is just the worst possible situation. All right, he's going to a situation in Baltimore where he has quarterback Lamar Jackson, who is maybe the least accurate quarterback in all of the NFL. The guy can't throw the ball. So how is he supposed to get the ball on timing routes to Hollywood Brown? I don't know how it's supposed to work. I really don't. I love Hollywood Brown. Hate the spot. I'm sorry, Hollywood. I really am. All right. Finally, let's talk about the dumpster fire that is the Washington Redskins. They were 7-9 last year. They're going to be 7-9 this year. They're going to be 7-9 forever, for perpetuity, forever. So they drafted Haskins, right, quarterback out of Ohio State. They also have Keenum, McCoy, Alex Smith. This is going to be the most expensive quarterback room ever, and none of them really can play. If Haskins was really good and the NFL thought he was good, someone would have traded up for him at 3 or at 5 to get him. He dropped to number 15 for a reason. I don't think he's all that great. He's certainly not going to have an impact on this team that's not very good. We don't curse on this show. So the Redskins, I don't think he's going to have any impact at all. That's a crowded quarterback room. All of them are going to stink. And not only by drafting a quarterback does it make more competition in the quarterback room, it makes it more crowded, but you're also not adding any kind of offensive weapon. How about an offensive lineman? How about a wide receiver? How about another tight end? How about anything other than another quarterback? You're going to stink. Just embrace the stink. Just be terrible. Get a quarterback next year. I don't know. Good luck, Redskins fans. Your team stinks, and you've got like 8 million quarterbacks. Good luck to you out there, all right? I hope everybody enjoys day 2 of the NFL draft. I hope you enjoy the the Clippers and the Golden State Warriors. I hope it's a good game, especially in the first half. And what else do we have going on? Enjoy the NBA playoffs. We'll be back tomorrow. Please visit mathradio.com, subscribe and like this show. And if you're listening on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating and a review. That's it. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.